2020 Tantra, Crown Tantra, Lock Consciousness now available. Info in the description. So when it comes to white supremacy, people have been subjected to dozens of World War II movies. Whether they're making Hitler out to be the bad guy, you're being acquainted with the idea of white supremacy. But most people are never acquainted with the idea of black supremacy. How can you get one side of the spectrum and have full spectrum view of life? I'm not telling people to be extreme or polarized in either side, but if you don't digest both sides, then you'll never be able to really grasp the full spectrum of life itself. So when you look into black supremacy, and I don't mean just physical black supremacy, I just mean like the darkness itself being the source of all art, science, language, everything, art, science, language, spirituality, obviously. So, you're going into darkness, or, when people are going into chemet or chemistry, chemet meaning black, the dark matter that we live in, that we're going towards the unity anyway, though, to be real, like when you're doing meditation or breath work, you're closing your eyes so that you're not in the light, because if your eyes are closed, then it's just complete darkness. So that's just unity, that's oneness. So when you have that oneness, you don't have that perception of separation, which that's how lack can fester, the illusion of separation. So getting back to the darkness is what gets us back to unity. So just digesting that side of the spectrum will shed some light on the darkness, or however you want to look at it. I mean, really can't separate it, because light is projected darkness. You get dark in the sun. The sun is black. It's ultraviolet. Again, the skin is reflecting the black universe that the stars are fueled by and sit in. So everybody really is a shade of black. Pink is just a really distant shade or really light shade of black. Nobody's really white. So from red, ruddy, pink to dark ultraviolet black, they're all different shades of black. So it's really oneness when you're going towards the darkness. And the only thing that created the separation was the fungus. When you have a compromised liver from the candida, from the thrush, and you're overrun by thrush, then your skin will have eczema, and you will lose color. You'll be losing color. Now, over generations, you lose more and more color. Now, as that happens, over generations of people doing that, or people living further away from places where they can live naked, then you have people having a small group of people to even breed with. The more that you inbreed, the more pale you become. You could look at white tigers or any white mammal. They're all products of interbreeding recessive traits. So the more that, if two albinos inbreed, they can only make more albinos. But if you have darkness injected, then you can get all shades. Like a black dog can make all colors of dogs, but a light dog can only make its color or lower, unless it breeds with a darker dog. So it's going towards the oneness is going towards the darkness, because it's the source of all light. And I just feel like people are really well acquainted with white supremacy and the ideals that come with it, whether they're against them or not, whether they hold those ideals in high regard or not. They're well acquainted with the idea and the concept of white supremacy, but no one is really acquainted with black supremacy besides the physical. I mean, the physical is obvious, the physical in a lot of ways is obvious. When you're darker, you have more full features. Your nose is more full, so that's indicative of the lungs being able to metabolize the air, the prana, the dark matter more, and that's why you have the physical attributes that come with darkness, and the physical benefits that come with darkness, because it's also maintenance or being able to maintain through the pressure of heat. If you have high melanin, then you can retain more melanin, more sunlight or whatever, and you can tolerate more heat. I mean, and if you want to say, again, polar bears have black skin. The Eskimo is darker, or was darker before they interbred. They were darker than the Europeans. So it's not location that is automatically making a person pale. It's the fungus and the inbreeding. I mean, location is just an insult to the injury. You're not getting sun. Of course, it's going to make it even worse. But that's the reality there. People really need to digest what black supremacy is, not just the physical aspect of it, not just that. You know, the more you can tolerate heat, the better the circulation. And then that's why you get the stereotypes as far as sex. It's just a person that can tolerate more heat because of the melanin. So the more you can tolerate heat, the harder it is for you to pop. So then you can sexually perform. And you can counter that with the breath. The more that you master the breath, the more that you can tolerate more heat because you're inhaling dark matter, which is the basis of life. And the more that you do that, the more you're returning to the source. So it's all about the breath, man. The breath, again, when the breath concentrates, it becomes the blood. When the blood concentrates, it becomes the flesh. So it's all just, and the flesh is basically, again, it's a crystallized breath, basically. Crystallized breath is a mirror or reflection of the black universe that we live in.